Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the White County 2026 Public Safety Awards ceremony on this afternoon. Nice and cool in here. What a beautiful facility. Good to see everybody here today as we celebrate a group of men and women that are the backbone of our community. A group of men and women who really have the same heartbeat to do what they do 24/7, 365. An extra day on leap year because they're always out there working for us. And today we commend and celebrate these people and what they do for us as they all join together. And they're of that one heartbeat. It's an amazing thing that this day that we have here today that is so pretty and so calm for us that we can come and do this and bring together fire services, 911 communications, emergency management, and animal control. So we welcome you here this afternoon as we celebrate. And at this time, we'll bring to the podium Scott Lomas. He is our chaplain, White County Chaplains Corps, and he will lead us in a prayer. After that will be the pledge and our national anthem. After the prayer, if you're able to stand to do that and celebrate our country, we'd invite you to do that as well.
All right. Again, I'm Scott Lomas. If you would, bow your heads. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to gather here today and for the community we are blessed to call home. We thank you for the men and women who dedicate themselves to serving and protecting the people of White County. We are grateful for their commitment, their sacrifice, and their families who support them as they carry out this important work. We ask your continued protection over all our first responders and public safety personnel. Give them wisdom in the decisions they make, strength during difficult moments, and compassion for those they are called to serve. Today, as we recognize the accomplishments and service of those gathered here, help us to remember the importance of working together and serving others with integrity and purpose. We ask your blessing over this ceremony, our community, and all those who serve. It's your name we pray. Amen. Well, I've got the privilege, the honor and privilege of leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance. But before we do that, go ahead and have a seat. I thought this being the 250th year celebration of this great country, let's just talk for just a brief moment. If you give me just 2 minutes, I want to talk about the Pledge of Allegiance, because most of us, if not all of us, have learned it in school. And what we do is we just get up there and rattle on, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States, and it just goes on. But we don't actually take a moment to think about it. And back in 1969, most of you don't remember, because most of your daddies weren't even alive. I was a little boy. In 1969, Red Skelton was he's a comedian, very famous comedian, and he broke down the Pledge of Allegiance that his teacher taught him when he was a child. And I'd like to do the same here with a couple of modifications because there was only 48 states then. So if you would, indulge me for a moment, let's break down the Pledge of Allegiance. I, me, an individual, a committee of one, pledge, dedicate all my worldly goods to give without self-pity. Allegiance, my love and my devotion to the flag, our standard. Old Glory, a symbol of freedom. Wherever she waves, there is respect, because your loyalty has given her a dignity that shouts, freedom is everybody's job. Of the United, that means we have all come together. States of America, individual communities that have united into 50 great states, 50 individual communities with pride and dignity and purpose, all divided with imaginary boundaries, yet united to a common purpose, and that is love for country. And to the Republic. See, the Republic is a state in which sovereign power is invested in representatives, chosen by the people to govern. And government is the people, and it's from the people to the leaders, not from the leaders to the people for which it stands. One nation under God. Yes, all of us standing together. That means we are so blessed by God. Indivisible. This may seem odd nowadays, but it is true if we hold tight. Incapable of being divided. With liberty, which is freedom, the right of power to live one's own life without threats, fear, or some sort of retaliation. and justice, the principle or qualities of dealing fairly with others for all. Which means, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's as much your country, it is mine. Now, if you'd rise and please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Stay rising. I'm sorry. Please stand up. We're going to do the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Brooke. Brooke Ledford, well, great job. Why she not at the Super Bowl doing the national anthem? That was a great job. Thank you, Brooke. We appreciate that so very much. Time now to introduce the Director of Public Safety for White County, really a man who needs no introduction. We're going to do it anyway as we bring up David Murphy. Oversees and provides leadership for all 4 divisions of the White County Public Safety. His role involves helping ensure those divisions operate as one coordinated public safety organization and works within division and leadership in those divisions on the day-to-day public safety operations, emergency preparedness and response, training and professional development, resources, equipment, and organizational needs, planning for the future as the future brings growth to White County, and then continues to emphasize service, preparedness, professionalism, teamwork, and collaboration. And today's ceremony really is a reflection of that approach, bringing all 4 public safety divisions together to recognize people behind the mission. Let's welcome Public Safety Director David Murphy.
Thank you, Joel. Thank you so much for being here and being our master of ceremonies. Thank you for coming out of your busy schedule. So I want to welcome you here, family, friends, members of our public safety team. Those of you joining us online, we thank you for attending online and watching when you cannot be here and supporting our public safety employees and volunteers here in White County. I'd like to welcome our award recipients today. I thank you for being here and the sacrifices that you made and the things that you did to actually make today possible. I want to thank the public safety employees, all of you that are here today, and those that are not here that's having to work and be on shift, or maybe they are working tonight and can't be here. We want to recognize your importance to our organization as well. For the family and friends, you know, guys, these men and women that serve every day behind the scenes and on the trucks, and whether they're in the office or in dispatch or down at animal control, there's always a family and friends that are behind. They're at home and supporting them. They could not do what they do without your love, support, and prayers. back at home. So for you that are attending today, I know it means a lot to them. It means a lot to me and a lot to our staff that you're here supporting them. And we thank you, and thank you so much for supporting these men and women. Everybody that works in public safety, it doesn't matter where you are, whether it's in fire, 911, EMS, law enforcement, emergency management, animal control, code enforcement, you name it, there's a slew of areas that would be considered public safety and working in public safety. You have to have a call, and it's something that's in your heart, something that you think about. I remember growing up as a kid, I think Scott mentioned 1969. I don't remember Red Skelton doing that, but I was born at that time, but I was way little. But I remember back in the day of dreaming and thinking about my grandfather wanted me to be a pastor. That's probably why I get up and sounds like I'm preaching sometimes to you guys. But he wanted me to be a pastor, but I wanted to be a firefighter. So throughout time, he supported me and try to encourage me, but the love and what's in here and the calling that you have on your life is really something unique. And for everybody that works, whatever area of public safety you work in, you certainly it's a calling to be able to do that. We have several members of our county leadership here today I would like to recognize. First of all, Chairman Turner is here. Would you stand? Thank you for being here. If it wasn't for, yes, please. If it wasn't for Chairman Turner and the Board of Commissioners, we would not be able to do what we get to do here in White County. They are 100% supportive of public safety. We go and we present things, and we go back and forth, and we are able to do stuff that many communities cannot do because our Board of Commissioners sees the vision and knows the importance of what public safety is. Derek Knupp, our County Manager. And Shanda Murphy, many of you call her Mama Shan, our Assistant County Manager. She did not stand up. She's got a achy back. It's been bothering her quite severely the last few days, so please keep her in your prayers. Also, there's in White County we have this unique we call it a Board of Public Safety, and there are several members. Every agency in White County has a member of that, and the county and city managers also serve on the Board of Public Safety. Today we have one of our members of Board of Public Safety with us, Chief Bill Scandrett. Chief, would you please stand, be recognized? Chief Scandrett and White County EMS are a great partner with our Office of Public Safety, work hand in hand with our 911 and Fire Services divisions, and does a great job. They do an awesome job for us. We also today are honored to have our Area 1 Field Coordinator for GEMA Homeland Security, Mr. Jonathan Jones. So today we're about to recognize a group of individuals that have done things unique over the past year. And we're going to recognize someone and many people in different divisions for different things. So about a year and a half ago, we really started talking about doing a public safety awards program. It's something that we have kind of had on our list of want-to-dos for quite some time. And when Chief Strength came back to us from his stint with the state, we rescued him from the jaws of the state and brought him back to the local level. And you're welcome. He tells me a lot that what was the word you used? I hoodwinked you back, coming back. So, but it was something that we kind of imagine when he came back on board. And there was a couple of things that he told me. He said, David, there's two things I want to do as quickly as we can to make our agency better. And one thing we want to do is make sure we recognize the men and women who sacrifice each and every day. If it's nothing more than going into the dispatch center or into the fire station and shaking a hand and saying thank you for what you've done, recognizes them for what they do, but also to go a little bit further and just make sure that we honor those. And everybody that works in public safety does an enormous, great job for the citizens and the visitors to White County. And they are really a team, and a team effort goes into it. I want to thank Don, and there was a committee of individuals from the Office of Public Safety. There was somebody from each division on that committee who worked hard to make this day possible. If any of the members of the committee are here today, would you please stand and be recognized? I don't want to leave any names out. So if you're a member of the committee, please stand and let's acknowledge you. Thank you so much for your tireless efforts and coming in for extra meetings, and Don likes to have those, so I know you had a lot of them, so thank you so much for that. This really gives us an opportunity not only to recognize the people, but as I said earlier, recognize you, the family and friends, the spouses, the children, the grandchildren of these men and women who serve. Again, without you being in the background, I mean, they work long shifts, nights, weekends, holidays. Sometimes they're not there for Christmas or Thanksgiving. I know there were several years I was not able to be there during those special holidays, birthdays, unexpected call-outs in the middle of the night or middle of the day, emergencies and major instances where even, for example, when we have to leave and go during a severe thunderstorm, we may have to leave our homes and go serve our community, and you might be sitting at home, well, what about me? The storm's still here. The tornado may come to my house, or the flood may happen, or the wildfire may happen. You know, everybody that has to leave their family to go serve their fellow person, they certainly keep you in mind, and we all say a special prayer for you when those incidents happen, and we thank you for supporting them. So thank you again for being here today. I'd like to also recognize a couple of special people. Mr. Bryce Barrett has he's our public information officer. He's actually up in the booth working right now. Him and several members of the team have spent a couple of days getting this together. They were here all day yesterday, and again early this morning I was getting text messages with questions early this morning, and he has done a great job. So Bryce, thank you, and members of your team. And we certainly could not do this without our corporate sponsors. You know, this does not come at no cost, and we don't want to. We want to be sure we spend our tax dollars wisely. But today's event and all is a corporate sponsorship from Barrett Funeral Home and also Precision United. They are helping us make sure that this is special for you today. So let's give them a round of applause. So one of the great opportunities I have today is to really recognize and bring forth, or introduce rather, our keynote speaker. Today I have an honor of introducing our keynote speaker, and I first met Chad Black in the late 80s while working in Hall County. I was in dispatch. He was, I think, at that time at Station 4. I don't even know if you had made lieutenant at that point in time. He was on Med 4, I know that, because Med 4 run a lot of calls, and I woke him up a lot in the middle of the night and sent him out. So, but I got to meet him back then, and then over the years, he has just done a tremendous amount of work for public safety. He's a public safety executive and governmental affairs leader with more than 44 years of experience in the fire service, emergency medical services, air medical operations, and public safety. Chad spent 31 years of his career with Hall County Fire Services, rising through the ranks and retiring as deputy fire chief. He later served as fire chief and director of emergency services for the Habersham County, where he was responsible for leading the county fire, EMS, and mobile integrated health program. He has also spent 17 years with Air Methods, serving in several areas, including clinical operational, executive roles, including critical care flight medic, Georgia business manager, Southeast regional business manager, and corporate business and governmental affairs. Today, Chad serves as the Director of Governmental Affairs for the Metro Atlanta Ambulance Service and as Chairman of the Georgia Emergency Medical Services Association. He also serves on several state and national boards and advisory groups, including the Georgia Firefighter Standards and Training Council and the Journal of Emergency Medical Services Advisory Board. Throughout his career, Chad has been a strong advocate for fire and EMS. With EMS, he has worked on focusing on workforce development, sustainable funding, system modernization, and improved access to emergency care. He co-authored the Georgia Cardiac Designated Center legislation and played a key leadership role in developing Georgia's pre-hospital blood transfusion program. And to say all that, he's right here from White County. He's a hometown boy. So join me in welcoming Chad Black, our keynote speaker for today.
Oh, thank you, Director Murphy, for those kind words and introduction. And to the public safety personnel here, thank you for allowing me to come back home where I started my career a long, long time ago. It's an honor. I'm humbled, and I'm very appreciative to be able to be asked to do this today. And I want to echo Director Murphy's comments. Not only the public safety for what you do, there's 159 counties in Georgia. This one's the most important to me to be protected because my family's from here. Yes, I'm very biased when it comes to this county. So I appreciate what you do, the sacrifices you make, but as Director Murphy said, to the families here, for what you do, the birthdays that the spouse can't be at, Christmas, Thanksgiving, and other special times for the family when they're there taking care of others, thank you for the sacrifice you make and what you do. It's greatly appreciated. I'm going to be a little bit different of a keynote speaker today than what you're usually maybe accustomed to. I want to give you, and for the ones that's working in public safety here in White County, I'm going to go back and give you a history, and we're going to actually have a little PowerPoint toward the end to show you what it was then and what you have built today. And it's unbelievable what it is in White County today. You've got something to be proud of. How I started, a lot of you, probably everybody in this room would know my uncle, Ricky Barrett, where the funeral home is now. That was my grandparents' house, and that was where I was raised. Me and my mother lived there when my dad was overseas in the service. And when Ricky was 16 years old, he was at the Allen Brothers, which is right next door to where the new city fire station is. That was Ward's funeral home prior. And Ricky was 16 years old, standing there. And back in those days, Ward's ran the ambulance service. They had one ambulance. And many times, one person would run an ambulance call. I remember being at my grandparents' house. My grandfather, Ricky's daddy, Clarence Barrett, had chest pains, and a man, J.W. Lancaster, showed up by himself to pick him up. And my uncle he said, "Can you ride in and sit in the back and hold oxygen on him?" That's actually how it worked back in those days a lot of times. And I remember being there and seeing that. But Ricky was standing outside. J.W. come out on a Sunday afternoon and hollered and said, "Hey, I've got an ambulance call. Does one of y'all boys want to go with me?" And Ricky thought, what the heck, I'll go. So actually ended up being a fatality of someone that had fallen off Anaruby Falls, but that's what got Ricky started. So Ricky went to work for Ward's his junior and senior year. Ricky got out of school, graduated, and went to Gupton Jones Mortuary School of Science, and came back in 1976 and opened up the funeral home, converted my grandparents' house where it is today. And that's when me as a young man at 10 years old started being around the funeral home. Ricky was my mentor, kind of guided me, and if I had any success in public safety, it goes back to Ricky. He was the one that I looked up to and taught me early how to take care of people. And that's important. But Ricky opened up, and you had the funeral home there, Ward's where the city fire station is. And when I say the competition was not friendly, the competition was not friendly. I know one person in here, one of my great friends, Lanier Swafford here. Has anybody, raise your hand, and it'll be for the older group, ever heard of a movie called Mother Jugs and Speed? Anybody ever seen it? I see a few out there. If you've not, Lanier has a copy of it. I was amazed to find. So on VCR tape, is that what? But it was about two competing ambulance services in Los Angeles and the antics they did, and it's just like the funeral home days. I'm going to give you a few little examples of how it really worked. So we didn't have 911 back then. The fire department did not respond with you on ambulance calls like they do today. If you had a wreck that had a car on fire, they may respond. We had back then what you called civil defense, that is Don's division now, EMA. They may go and help you. We didn't have extrication equipment. It was us doing what we could do, or the wrecker services were our extrication crews back then. So what would happen is the sheriff, either you would need an ambulance, you'd either call Wards or Barrett, whichever one you on the rotary dial phone, whichever one you wanted to use, or the sheriff's department would get a lot of calls. Did anybody see that red phone out in the foyer that had no dial thing on it? That was the old fire department phones, where if you were a volunteer fireman, you had those in your house, and when they called the fire department, the sheriff's department would answer, but all the firemen, if they were home, would pick up and know they had a fire, and they'd respond to the fire station. Then the sheriff's department would push a button or pull a lever, and there was this big siren in town that would go off, and the volunteer fireman that was at work at gas station stuff would respond to the station and go on the call for a fire. So the sheriff's department would get a call. They'd rotate the calls. If Ward's got the last ambulance call to a wreck or something, Barrett's was the next one. Anybody remember what scanners was back in the old days? Well, we all listened to scanners. Ricky wouldn't let us jump the scanners, they said. So if the sheriff's department didn't call us or get a call, we couldn't go on the call. Ricky wouldn't let us. But our competition, they would hear it on the scanner, and they would jump on the radio and go en route. So we raced to calls. We had 2 ambulances. They had 1. If we got ahead of them and we had one more person to take our backup ambulance, it would ride the yellow line and not let the competition pass while we went to the wreck. And you think I'm joking, but I'm not. It was that bad back then. Just one war story I'll tell you to show an example. And I was young riding. Ricky, I got to ride when I was very young on some ambulance calls, but we ran a wreck at Turner's Corner. Vehicle off the road, the person's hurt. Ricky and I don't remember who was with them. And I was telling the county manager, when you got on a wreck call, we would have to take our stretcher and put on the road. And how you got the Hall County, White County, wherever you live on your tag, we had stickers made up that was on all of our equipment. So our stretcher had Barrett, Wards had Wards. But you would have to put your stretcher in the road, because if you didn't, Wards would pull up behind you to where you couldn't open your back door and get the patient in, and they'd get the patient and take it. So put our stretcher out. Ricky and them's down in the hole. They get this person out on the backboard, put on a stretcher. And Brian Alexander, that now works for Ricky, ironically, I think it was him and David, said, "Thank you, we'll take it from here." And I remember Ricky going, "What do you mean?" That's our stretcher. And it had Wards on it. Looked around, they had pushed our stretcher off the other side of the road, and it was down the embankment on the opposite side of the road. So those are the things and the antics that happen. There's some I can't tell. But it was, you got to remember, too, no cell phones. So if there was a wreck on Trey Mountain or somebody fell off Yona Mountain, somebody had to drive to go find a landline to call for an ambulance, or if it was a wreck somewhere. It would take sometimes 10 or 15 minutes. So it's changed quite dramatically. And as we go through the PowerPoint, and Bryce, you can go ahead and put that up, please. I want you to remember 3 words, and this is for the public safety personnel. There's a lot of good days. I loved what I've done, and I still love it. There's a lot of good days, and there's days not so good. And there's times that the people behind me and the command staff here have to make rules and things that you may not agree with. But I want you to remember 3 words: positive, productive, and proactive. Don't get in the rumor mill. Things may not go your way. Be professional. Go talk to your next chain of command and say, if you don't agree, tell them why. But don't be part of the rumor mill. Make it always be proactive, productive, and always be positive, even on those bad days. So there we go. Kind of this is the history, and some of this, I think we've got it, or I've got it right, but this just gives you some dates of when things started. Cleveland Fire Department, Wards had been here since 1949. Helen Fire Department, you see the date. In 1986, I got that down one, but Ricky, when he started, you had, again, Wards and Barretts, and then about 1980, both funeral homes went to the county and said, "It's just costing too much to operate the ambulance service. You've got to pay us a subsidy." So then both of them were kind of classified as White County EMS. Around 1982, the county decided they only wanted to pay one, put it out for bid, and Ricky got it, and we became the only White County EMS then. Then, again, like I said, 82, White County became under Ricky. Then in March 15th, this is when I decided to leave. I went to EMT school at 18, and my great-grandmother, who was my world, again, I was riding third. We picked her up. This was December of 83, excuse me. And she went into cardiac arrest when we got into Gainesville. And I said then, I'll work a little bit here, but I've got to go somewhere. My family's here, and I don't want to have to pick them up. And that was my decision to leave to go somewhere else. So then in '85, Ricky went to the county and boards and said, we're getting out of the ambulance business. It's just too costly. And that's when the county took it over. In '85, it became officially White County EMS then, and you'll see a picture, but Milton Harris, that a lot of us know, was the first official director of White County EMS. He's a great one. 1986, the first fire station for White County Volunteer, Station 2. And then in '87, I think I'm right, is when Northeast Georgia, Bill, is that right, '87, when Northeast Georgia took over? Somewhere around there? '86, okay. And then you see there when White County fire stations 4, 5, 6, and 7 through those years, and then they all consolidated. Then in 1994, your 911 dispatch, telecommunications, and I praise y'all because you are, I always say, you are the first line of defense in what we do. We can't do what I did in my earlier days, or they do today without what you do. White County Animal Control in 1996, and then you got 2014 White County Fire established Station 2 as the first 24-hour staff station. Next slide, please. So I'm going to take a quote. As I said, I'm older than him. I don't know how he's a mentor, but Lanier's a little bit younger than me, but he's one that I run things by a lot. He's a great friend of mine. But he's had a saying for years, is we stand on the shoulder of giants that came before us. And we do. Their courage, their sacrifice, and service, they built the foundation for what we do today. I want you to always remember that, and don't do anything to discredit that, because it's important. Because as we stand on those shoulders, all of you out here that go through and make a career of this, 10, 15, 20 years down the road, it's going to be your shoulders that people stood on. Carry it with pride. Again, proactive, positive, and productive. Next slide. I do want to recognize Officer Carol Lee Ledford. As far as I know, and me and Director Murphy talked, is the only public safety personnel that was killed in the line of duty in White County. Her end of watch was 4/19/1999. She was on, I believe it was the road that goes to your office, correct? Patrolling, and if I remember right, a drunk driver hit her head on, and she lost her life at a very young age. Tragic. So I always want to recognize that. Next slide. Just to give you a history, things change, challenges change, and so must we, because progress is built by those willing to move forward. This is your original fire station, and sadly, I have to say, I remember that truck responding on calls. Next slide, please. This is actually, to the right, our backup ambulance at Barrett's, and this is not the hearse. I had to get this image. I couldn't find a picture, but this was our third backup. Anybody else in here other than me actually ran a call in a hearse? I have. I was hoping Lanier had, but he said he hadn't even ran one. Little light on the dash, you'd take it down. If you had to run an ambulance call, you put the light on the dash and you ran the call. Big changes since then. Next slide. I had to go find a lot of pictures, White County News. That young man right there, I didn't remember that, but that was a 27-inch waist, 118 pounds, and a long time ago that a lot has changed since then. But that's one of the first ambulances, White County EMS, before it went county when the funeral homes had it, and that was the only one I could find. Next slide, Bryce, please. This is when the county was made aware the funeral homes was getting out, and this was an article where the county was seeking the ambulance service what to do with it because the funeral homes would not be operating it. Next slide. You see this where Emergency Services Board makes EMS recommendation. So they have made, and this is, the next slide is something tragic that happened, but I want you to notice down in the bottom there where it says State Patrol Accident Report. And I'm going to show you this full slide here in a minute. But this is a great day when White County EMS really out of the funeral homes, it's being established. Next slide. You see this? Same thing. Accident kills 1, injures 3. I had left and gone to Hall County, and I'll never forget them paging out Med 2 and Claremont to respond to White County to an ambulance wreck where Ricky's ambulance, they had picked up a girl having chest pain. Her mother was riding with them. They were going at 129 right there. Anybody remember? I know Chairman Turner, you remember that accident. There was a truck smoking in the road, and when the driver of the ambulance met a truck coming out of the smoke, she thought it was it, went into the smoke, and there was a truck, flatbed truck, and they run up underneath it. Tragically, next slide, it killed the mother of the patient, critically injured the paramedic who was never able to go back to work, and critically injured the driver. The patient, she was okay. Just one of the worst days of public safety in White County. Next slide. This was the White County News, and you see they make the recommendation. It's a new beginning for EMS, but tragically one of the most tragic days in EMS. This was the front page of the White County News that day. Just ironic how that happened. Next slide. Just a picture of some of your first ones. David Swords is one of the EMS directors. As I said, Milton Harris was the first one. Milton made it 2 months, and then he decided to go make money, and he went to DeKalb County EMS and went to work. And then I believe, Bill, am I right, he came back to White County, correct? That's right. Some of these in here are no longer with us for their sacrifices and the services. I know Mama Lusk and Lynn Turpin, young James Allison there. Next slide. Just, again, standing on the shoulders. Bill, do you remember this truck? I remember doing, I believe it was fail-safe, and we had some kind of something on the front of that thing where we had to go to Trey Mountain to drive, and if the alarms went off and we got scored and got in trouble for driving bad. But I have to say, too, I've actually driven that ambulance. There's a picture of Milton Harris back in when they were doing the rope rescue days for White County. Next slide. This is where we are today. The future is what you make it. Again, those 3 words, don't forget them. Come in every day ready to go. What you do is a calling, and what you do is needed, and it's appreciated more than you'll ever know. This is where you are today. I had the privilege to come to this. What a beautiful fire station compared to what we got to stay in at the funeral home days. Next slide. Look at the trucks today compared to what they used to be. What's it going to be in 5 and 10 years? I don't know, but you're going to be part of it. Next slide. Again, we didn't have 911. The communications, what you do, God bless you. It is the first line of what we do. We can't do it without you. So thank you for what you do. Your emergency management, I remembered it as civil defense. It's needed. Positive, productive, and proactive. And when you do that, progress happens. Respect where we came from. Respect those shoulders that we stand on today, because, again, it's going to be your shoulders one day. And have the courage to build what's next. I'm not going to read that. That's just simply my last part. All I want to say again is you take care of my family and the citizens here, and I am greatly appreciative of that. Again, it's been a tremendous honor to be here for this inaugural Public Safety Awards banquet, and I'm going to enjoy watching people get awards for what you do. God bless you, and again, God bless the families, and thank you.
Chad, quite the historian. That was very interesting. Make a great podcast, too, for sure. At this point, we bring up our county manager for his remarks, Derek Knupp. Derek understands that heartbeat, as was mentioned a few moments ago by Director Murphy, that heartbeat because he is a former firefighter. I guess once a firefighter, always a firefighter in the volunteer ranks. He's here now with remarks as we continue.
Well, you know, usually when I would show up to a call, they normally let me roll the hose up. But I did what I could. You know, when I knew that Chad was going to be I told him earlier when he was going to be the keynote speaker, I thought, wow, I really feel sorry for whoever the guy is asked to go after him, and here I am. But no, I'm appreciated. I'm really excited to be here today. I think this event is absolutely incredible. I really want to recognize each of you for your hard work, your dedication, and your sacrifices, and also for what your families do. So for the families, the kids, the wives, the husbands, you know, you are part of the White County family as well. Your loved ones couldn't come and do the job without your support of them, and I appreciate that. I want to thank Director Murphy and the command staff and the committee that put this together. You guys did a fantastic job. I hope this is something that can continue and continue to grow. I also want to thank the White County Board of Commissioners. We're very fortunate to have their support and for the emphasis that they put on public safety being at the top of the strategic priorities for White County. You know, White County does, any county government, frankly, does a lot of different things. We could, you know, I could stand around and talk to you after for hours about stuff we do. But you know, at the root of it all, the purpose for any county to exist, the mission for it really, is simply to protect and promote the health, safety, and general welfare of the citizens. That's why we exist. Sounds a lot like what you all do every single day when you come into shift, and I'm eternally grateful for that. You know, White County, I think, is very special still because we, you know, I'm just going to be honest. You know, I think a lot of counties and cities don't value the people that we do still. The people are what make this all possible. It's not the you know, the facilities and the trucks and the equipment. Those things are all necessary tools, but it's all useless without the quality people behind it. And I'm pretty vocal to my other colleagues in the other 159 counties when I see them, and I'll put money on it that our people in public safety are the best in the state. If you don't believe me when you come across them, ask them because they'll tell you, because I'm pretty vocal about it. Again, on behalf of myself, the Board of Commissioners, and my family, thank you for all that you do. You folks are very special to me. Those of you that know me well know that I'm just an old road and trash civil guy. But I've always held and I always will hold those that serve in public safety in very high regard. So I'm thankful for y'all. I love y'all. Thank you for what you do.
Thank you, Mr. Canup. Appreciate those kind words. Now for the moment we've all been waiting for. Y'all ready? We're going to begin our awards presentations with a group of recognitions that are not specific to any one division. These awards can recognize someone from anywhere within the Office of Public Safety, and these individuals that have demonstrated leadership, initiative, compassion, professionalism, and a willingness to go above and beyond what is expected of them. Some of those contributions are highly visible. Others happen quietly behind the scenes, but each one makes our organization and community safer. With that, we will begin with our first group of awards. Our first recognition is the 2026 Innovation Award. The Innovation Award recognizes an individual who consistently looks for new and better ways to move our organization forward. This year's recipient doesn't simply wait for a problem to arise and then find a solution. They anticipate needs, identify opportunities for improvement, and find practical ways to make the jobs of those around us or those around them easier and more efficient. Their efforts have helped improve training, streamline daily operations, and make important information easier for employees to access. Their willingness to help doesn't stop there. When an equipment isn't working, when someone needs assistance with CAD, or when there's simply a better way to accomplish something, this individual is often one of the first people willing to step in, troubleshoot the problem, and find a solution. One coworker may have summed it up best when they said, "He always fixes the broken stuff." Helping with CAD and bringing new ideas to the table, he continues to do great work. Another coworker recognized the work of this individual has done to move information and resources online, making everyday tasks easier and more accessible for the entire team. Innovation does not always mean creating something completely new. Sometimes it means looking at the way we have always done something and asking, how can we do it better? This individual continues to ask the question and, more importantly, puts into work to find the answer. For their initiative, creativity, problem solving, and commitment to making our organization better, It is our privilege to present the 2026 Innovation Award to Collins Dunn. And so that the family and everyone else knows, after the award ceremony is completed today, I should have said this to begin with, we'll be doing photos outside in front of the banner. So please hang out there, take all the photos you want to, and just hang out so we can get your photo. Thank you. Our next award is called the 2026 Golden Heart Award. The Golden Heart Award recognizes the individual who leads with kindness, compassion, and genuine concern for others. This award is not necessarily about one single action or accomplishment. Instead, it recognizes something that can be even more meaningful, the way a person consistently treats the people around them. This year's recipient is someone who makes a point to treat everyone they encounter with respect and dignity. No matter who they are speaking with or what the situation may be, this individual takes the time to have a conversation, to listen, and to make personal connection. Co-workers describe that kindness as something that is simply part of who the person is. One co-worker shared, he treats each person he comes in contact with respect. Another simply said, he talks with whoever he comes into contact with. Those may sound like simple things, but they say a great deal about a person's character. In public safety, where our days can be busy, stressful, and sometimes difficult, taking the time to make another person feel seen, valued, and respected can have a tremendous impact. It strengthens our team, creates a more positive workplace, and serves as a reminder that how we treat people matters. For consistently demonstrating kindness, compassion, respect, and the genuine heart of others, it is our privilege to present the 2026 Golden Heart Award to Matt Merritt. Our next recognition is the Rising Star Award. The Rising Star Award recognizes a recent hire who in a relatively short amount of time has already made a meaningful impact through dedication, hard work, and commitment to excellence. This award celebrates someone who embraces new challenges, learns quickly, and demonstrates tremendous potential for the future. This year's recipient has done exactly that. Coming into this profession with no prior experience, this individual faced a significant learning curve, but approached every challenge with determination, confidence, and willingness to learn. Co-workers quickly began to notice that effort. One co-worker shared, over the short period of time we've had her, she has made a great amount of progress. She shows great work ethic and is able to do her job well. Another said she works extremely hard and is always willing to learn. She came into this field with no experience and knocked it out of the park. After completing hundreds of hours of rigorous training, this individual has already demonstrated that she can be counted on when the pressure is high. During the recent winter storm response, she stepped up when the communication center was facing an extraordinary workload, helping to ease the burden from our coworkers and demonstrating professionalism, resilience, and teamwork when it mattered most. Being a rising star is not simply about being new, it's about showing from the very beginning that you have the attitude, work ethic, and commitment necessary to become an important part of the team. For her exceptional growth, dedication, work ethic, and commitment to serving others, it is our privilege to present the 2026 Rising Star Award to Emily Booth. I probably should say what division these are in, but according to the thing. But Emily's in our communications division, along with Collins, and of course Matt Merritt was in our fire division. So, our next recognition is the say it for me, Meritorious Mentor Award. Is that right? That's good enough. I'm from Talmo. That's about as close as I can get to that. This award recognizes an individual who goes above and beyond to guide, encourage, and develop those around them. A great mentor does more than teach skills. They build confidence, create opportunities to grow, and invest in the success of others. This year's recipient has demonstrated that commitment through his service. One employee shared that when they began serving as a volunteer firefighter, this individual took it upon himself to help guide and train them, making sure they had opportunities to improve in the areas where they needed the most support. Since being promoted to lieutenant, he has also continued to grow into his leadership role with professionalism, maturity, and dedication. Co-workers describe him as approachable, encouraging, and patient, while also being someone who knows when to step forward and lead. He challenges those around him to keep training, stay on current new tactics, and continue to improve their skills. Whether mentoring a new firefighter, supporting his shift, or taking on responsibilities that were never asked of him, he consistently leads by example. For his patience, leadership, and commitment to developing the next generation of firefighters, it is our privilege to present this award, the 2026 Mentor Award, to Lieutenant Matt Merritt. So now I'm going to turn it over to Chief Don Strength. Don serves as our division chief for emergency management. He also has to deal with the 911 and the animal control. He helps me supervise those work areas, and he is a tremendous asset, my right-hand guy, and also known as Dr. Don. If you need to know anything about the weather, this man will keep you informed. Don Strength.
Whew, finally, I get the microphone. Those of you who know me know I'm lost without this. I hear about it every single day. I'm very excited to be here today because, as Director Murphy mentioned earlier, this is something we've talked about doing a long time. And this has been a dream of mine since I was given the opportunity to come home to White County after spending 6 years or so with the state. I joke that Director Murphy hoodwinked me into coming back, but it was the best hoodwinking I think I've ever had. It brought me back to where I need to be. And I'm very happy to be here, and I'm just really excited that tonight or this afternoon is our first ever White County Public Safety Ceremony. This is something that we are going to build on every year. It's going to be bigger and better every single year. And I want this to be as much, if not more, about our families, our support folks who keep us going because, as it's already been said, those 2 a.m. wake-up calls, having to work birthdays, holidays, during ice storms, snowstorms, we never know when those things are going to happen. So, unfortunately, it's part of serving the public. And to get through those situations that our firefighters, our 911 personnel, our animal control people have to deal with, because there's a lot of good, but there's a lot of bad. It takes mom, dad, aunt, uncle, brother, sister, the family to get you through all of this. David said a few moments ago, you know, those storms that hit at 2 o'clock in the morning, you leave your own family. I've personally have experienced that more times than I want to think about. But it's a commitment. It's what we do. So thank you to the family, and I want to give a big round of applause to the family members who are here who support our public safety personnel. So we're going to start with our animal control division. And so if you work for White County Animal Control, I would like for you to stand so I can see where everybody's at. Thank you for what you do. Animal control provides an important public safety and community service role throughout White County. Their work goes well beyond simply responding to calls involving stray animals. The division works every day to protect the public, protect and care for animals, respond to animal-related complaints and concerns, enforce applicable animal control ordinances, reunite lost pets with their owners. That's probably the best part of their day when they get to do that. Facilitate adoptions, work with rescue organizations and community partners, educate and assist citizens. Just a few statistics for you. From 2005, Animal Control responded to 738 calls for service, processed intake of 818 animals, issued 98 citations, facilitated 275 spay and neuter operations. Thanks to the entire Animal Control staff for their hard work throughout the year. So our first award is the Community Outreach and Adoptions Award. This award recognizes an individual who goes above and beyond to strengthen the connection between animal control and the community that we serve. It honors someone whose dedication, compassion, and commitment help create positive outcomes not only for the animals entrusted to our care, but also for the people who care about them. This year's recipient has demonstrated a true passion for community involvement and for making a difference in the lives of the animals at White County Animal Control. Through her efforts, she has helped promote awareness of animals needing homes, encouraged greater community engagement, and support the mission of finding safe and loving homes for the animals in our care. She understands that successful animal control operations depend on building relationships with the community, creating opportunities for people to get involved, connecting animals with potential adopters, and helping the public better understand the work being done every single day. Her compassion is evident in the way that she approaches both the animals and the people that she serves. Her willingness to help, her commitment to outreach, and her desire to create positive outcomes have made a meaningful impact on our division. This award represents an important part of the mission of animal control, serving our community while advocating for health, safety, and well-being of animals entrusted to our care. For her dedication, compassion, commitment to connecting our animals with the community, it is our privilege to present the 2026 Animal Control Community Outreach and Adoptions Award to Samantha Engelhardt. If you want a better understanding of what they go through on a daily basis, they do take volunteers. All you have to do is go see Miss Astrid. Our next recognition is the Animal Control Outstanding Service Award. The Outstanding Service Award recognizes an individual who consistently goes above and beyond in their commitment to their work, their team, and the community they serve. This award honors someone whose dedication, professionalism, reliability, and willingness to step up have made a lasting impact on White County Animal Control. This year's recipient exemplifies what outstanding service truly means. Day after day, this individual demonstrates a strong commitment to the mission of animal control through hard work, dependability, and a willingness to do whatever is needed to help both the animals in our care and the people of our community. Whether handling the daily responsibilities of the job, assisting a coworker, or taking on a challenge beyond what is normally expected, he approaches his work with professionalism and a desire to do things the right way. He has shown that outstanding service is not defined by a single moment. It is built through consistency, being someone your coworkers can depend on, stepping forward when something needs to be done, and taking pride in serving others. Those qualities have not gone unnoticed. In recognition of his continued growth, dedication, and leadership, this individual was also recently promoted and will be taking on an expanded role within animal control, including helping strengthen the division's emergency preparedness. That responsibility is particularly important as we continue to work to ensure that every area of public safety is prepared to operate efficiently during emergencies and disasters. His new role reflects the confidence that has been placed in him and provides an opportunity for him to take the same work ethic and commitment he demonstrates every day and use it to help make the entire division stronger and better prepared. His service represents the values we want to see throughout our organization: reliability, teamwork, professionalism, innovative, and genuine commitment to serving others. For his hard work, his dedication to White County Animal Control, and his continued willingness to step up and serve wherever he is needed, it's our privilege to present the 2026 Animal Control Outstanding Service Award to Anthony Cannon. Our next recognition is the Animal Control Problem Solver Award. The Problem Solver Award recognizes an individual who demonstrates creativity, resourcefulness, and the ability to think outside the box when faced with a challenge. In public safety, things do not always go according to plan. Problems arise, circumstances change, and sometimes the obvious solution simply does not work. This year's recipient has demonstrated that ability time and time again. She approaches challenges with a thoughtful and practical mindset and is not afraid to look at a solution from a different perspective, sometimes real different. Rather than becoming discouraged when something is difficult, she focuses on finding a way forward. She's willing to adapt, try something different, and take the initiative to develop solutions that help accomplish the mission of animal control. That resourcefulness has made a positive impact not only on her coworkers, but also on the animals entrusted to her care and the citizens that she serves. And in animal control, problem solving often requires more than simply finding the quickest answer. Every solution can be different. It may require patience, creativity, compassion, and the determination to keep working until the best possible outcome can be found. This individual consistently demonstrates all of those qualities. She reminds us that a great problem solver is not simply someone who has all the answers. It is someone who is willing to keep asking questions, consider different possibilities, and put in the effort necessary to find the right solution. For her creativity, resourcefulness, dedication, and willingness to think differently when faced with a challenge, it is our privilege to present the 2026 Animal Control Problem Solver Award to Ms. Astrid DeWeaver. If you're ever having a bad day and you just want to find a way to start smiling, go sit down and talk to that lady. On your worst day, she can put a smile on your face. Guaranteed. So thank you to the entire animal control team for their service to White County. And we will now turn our attention to another division that plays a critical role in every emergency response across this country, and that is our 911 division. Communication officers are responsible for answering emergency and non-emergency calls, gathering critical information, keeping callers calm during difficult situations, dispatching the appropriate resources, coordinating multiple agencies, providing responders with critical information before and during incidences. Their work happens largely behind the scene, but directly impacts every emergency response in White County. A few stats from 2025: 110,876 total calls were answered in White County. 172,873 total incidences and radio calls were handled by our 911 Communication Center. Of that number, 97.45% of those calls were answered in less than 10 seconds. It's amazing. Absolutely. Average time from incoming call to dispatch was 1 minute and 43 seconds, exceeding our goal of 2 minutes. And they stay consistently under that 2-minute number. I check. But behind every number is a caller who needs assistance, a communications officer who answered, responders who depended on accurate information. Thank you to the entire White County 911 communications team for the work they do 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Also, special thank you today to Ms. Teresa Forster. She has stayed in the center today to assist, and this is so cool, 4 Habersham County 911 communication officers who have been training for the last 2 months so that our communication officers could attend today's ceremony. So a huge thank you to all the folks at Habersham County 911 and for being part of what we call our local TERT team. They've been training and they are dispatching as we speak right now. And they're watching us, so thank you, Habersham. And we're going to do the same for them. It's our turn next after today. Also want to take just a second to say thank you to one other special person. I told you when I started speaking today, when I came back, I told Director Murphy there were 2 things. that I wanted to accomplish. And one was what we're doing today. And the second one was I wanted to fix our training program, specifically in the 911 division. Folks, I came to White County 17 years ago with, at that time, about 37 years of experience in public safety, fire, EMS, not EMS, it's the one thing I didn't do, fire, 911, emergency management, done it all. And by chance, I ended up in the White County 911 Center because my first real job out of high school was a dispatcher. Well, that was a few years ago, and there was not 911 at that time. So becoming a 911 communications officer for me, especially at my age, was a very difficult thing to do. Quite honestly, out of all the things I've done in my life, it's probably the most difficult thing I have ever done. But I did it. So I always told myself if I ever got to a point where we're going to change our training, we're going to make it more conducive, we're going to make the training more favorable to the candidate, so we would be setting them up for success. And we have done that. We have made huge strides in the last couple of years with our training program at White County 911, and I could not have done it without my incredible staff. All of my communications officers have played a part in this. But there's one person that has kind of been the glue that's kept it all together, and that's Miss Kimberly Tallman. I just want to recognize you. Stand up. Thanks, Kim. I guarantee you, she keeps me in line. Those emails, constantly. So 911 Communications Officer of the Year Award. This award recognizes an individual who exemplifies professionalism, teamwork, leadership, and a strong commitment to serving both the public and fellow first responders. This year's recipient is someone who consistently brings those unique qualities to the Communications Center. Her co-workers describe her as professional, encouraging, dependable, and always willing to help. She takes the time to check on the people around her, make sure that they have what they need, and offer support whenever she can. One co-worker shared that she cares for others above herself and goes above and beyond, while remaining committed to the policies and standards of the profession. That same dedication extends beyond her immediate team. She's always willing to do what she can to support the first responders in the field and help make sure that they have what they need to do their job safely and effectively. Another co-worker noted the effort she puts into bringing the Communications Center together, from sharing encouraging quotes to creating shift games. Everybody knows who I'm talking about now. And activities that help employees connect with one another. In a profession that can be demanding, stressful, and fast-paced, having someone who intentionally works to encourage others and strengthen the team makes a lasting impact. For her professionalism, compassion, leadership, and dedication to both her coworkers and the first responders they serve, it is our privilege to recognize the 2026 911 Communications Officer of the Year, Kay Trott. Ms. Kay is going to be retiring in a couple of months, so this is very fitting. Congratulations. Our next recognition is the 911 Supervisor of the Year Award. This award recognizes a supervisor who demonstrates strong leadership professionalism, dependability, and a commitment to supporting both their team and the mission of the Communications Center. A good supervisor does more than manage his shift. They set the tone for the people around them, provide guidance when challenges arise, and help ensure the communications officer has the support they need to perform at their best. This year's recipient has demonstrated that kind of leadership. He understands the demands placed on those working in emergency communications and works to provide consistency, direction, and support to the employees that he leads. Whether handling the normal challenges of a busy shift or helping guide the team through high-stress situations, he approaches these responsibilities with professionalism and a focus on getting the job done. Strong leadership in a 911 center often happens quietly, answering questions, making decisions, stepping in when needed, supporting employees, and helping operations move when the workload becomes demanding. Those efforts have a direct impact not only on the communications center, but also on every first responder and citizen who depends on work being done. For his leadership, dedication, professionalism, and continued commitment to the White County 911 team, it is our sincere privilege to recognize the 2026 911 Supervisor of the Year, Blake Gwynn. Our next recognition is the 911 Valor Award. This award recognizes a communications professional whose actions, judgment, and skill during emergency call taking reflect the very best of public safety. In emergency communications, every second counts and every word matters. The person on the other end of the phone must be able to remain calm, quickly understand what is happening, gather critical information, and get the right resources moving. This year's recipient consistently demonstrates that ability. Her coworkers describe her as someone who can effectively prioritize rapidly changing situations, work seamlessly with her team, and provide exceptional service to callers during some of the most difficult moments of their lives. One coworker shared that she has shown excellent prioritization, teamwork, and gone above and beyond to give the absolute best service to our callers, often helping calm them when responders are being sent to their location. That ability to balance compassion with decisive action is incredibly important in what we do. Her calm demeanor, professionalism, and commitment to helping others provide reassurance to callers while also ensuring that first responders receive the information they need to respond safely and effectively. For her sound judgment, professionalism, teamwork, and exceptional service during emergency situations, it is our privilege to present the 2026 911 Valor Award to Jessica Wood. Our next recognition is the Beyond the Headset Award. This award recognizes a communications professional whose impact reaches far beyond answering 911 calls. It honors someone who consistently gives their time, energy, and talents in service to their coworkers, the agency, and the community. This year's recipient truly embodies that spirit. She is often one of the first to volunteer for community outreach, special events, committees, trainings, and other opportunities to support the Communications Center. Her coworkers describe her as someone who not only does an outstanding job inside the center, but also serves as a strong ambassador for 911 out in the community. She has volunteered for school career days, committee work, regional TERT efforts, special events, and even helped with the planning of this very award ceremony we are enjoying today. Many of those efforts have taken place on her own time. One coworker says it's rare that she's not involved in something 911 related, and it goes to show that she truly goes beyond the headset. That willingness to step forward, get involved, and represent the Communications Center with professionalism and pride has made a lasting impact on both the agency and the community. For her dedication, leadership, volunteer spirit, and commitment to serving far beyond the responsibilities of the headset, it is our privilege to present the 2026 Beyond the Headset Award to Amber Finley. Our next recognition is the Positivity Award. This award recognizes an individual whose attitude, encouragement, and optimism helps create a strong and more positive workplace for everyone around them. In a profession that can be stressful and emotionally demanding, the attitude one person brings to a shift can make a tremendous difference. This year's recipient is someone his coworkers describe as consistently positive, respectful, and encouraging. One employee shared that throughout his time with the agency, they could not remember a time when he practiced in gossiping or negativity. Instead, he's always seemed to find something kind or positive to say about the people he works with, both within our agency and among our partner agencies. That attitude has helped create a shift where people genuinely enjoy coming to work. Another coworker pointed out that his team includes employees from a wide range of ages and backgrounds, yet he has a unique ability to find common ground, work through differences, and create an environment where everyone feels welcome and valued. And sometimes positivity is as simple as knowing how to make someone smile. As one person put it, he's always able to put a smile on everyone's face and even on their worst days. Through his encouragement, humor, respect for others, and the example he sets for his team, this individual has helped make the Communications Center a better place to work. For his positivity, his positive attitude, leadership, and commitment to lifting up those around him, it is our privilege to present the 2026 Positivity Award to Blake Gwynn. Now I'm going to reluctantly turn the microphone over to someone else for a few minutes, but I'll be back. Director Murphy.
Thank you. We're going to move on now to our Emergency Management Division. Some of the statistics for 2025, emergency management responded to 271 incidents. We had 40 hours of Emergency Operations Center activation. We had 4 emergency operational plan updates reviewed and updated. We have what is quite unique to White County in our Emergency Management Division. We have a Citizens Emergency Response Team. This is probably one of I know it's, other than a few volunteer firefighters, this whole Citizens Emergency Response Team is completely volunteer. And we have somewhere in the neighborhood of 40 individuals that's on that team. And I'm going to give you some of their statistics, and then I want to recognize them for their volunteerism and their community efforts. In 2025, our Citizens Emergency Response Team went to 33 events and deployments. They spent 300 plus hours in deployment. They added 2 new CERT members this year. They had over 2,407 hours of community training. That's where they give training to the public, the community. There's 2,737 hours of CERT member training themselves. They spent that much last year in training together to better serve our community. Let's give a round of applause to our Citizens Emergency Response Team. This team is led by our CERT coordinator, Leah Targiano, who has done a great job in bringing together that team over the years and continues to develop. What we do is a couple of times a year, we actually have a class for our citizens. They come to usually the senior center where we host these classes, usually of 10, 15, 20, just depending on the interest. They'll teach all kinds of emergency response, first aid, CPR, what to do in case a disaster occurs in your home or in your community. And the intent is to train people to help their neighbors. And that's certainly something that we have been very successful with. Since 2005, this program was actually started by my predecessor. Since 2005, we've had over 600 individuals in White County to go through this program, which is a testament to the program itself. Once those individuals go through the program, they're given an opportunity to come back and serve in the emergency response team. And there are several teams that they can serve on, and some of these folks do stay, and that's where we get our 40 individuals that we have roughly now. So thank you to the emergency management staff, the CERT volunteers, and our partner agencies who helped us over the last year. So our first award is our emergency management recognition of the CERT responder. This award recognizes members of our community emergency response team who consistently go above and beyond what is expected of a volunteer. CERT is built on people who are willing to give their own time to train, prepare, and respond when White County needs additional support. This year's recipients have demonstrated an exceptional commitment to each of those areas. They are consistently among those who take advantage of opportunities to train and improve their skills, understanding that being prepared themselves allows them to better serve others when an emergency occurs. And when the call comes, they can be counted on to show up. Whether supporting an emergency response, assisting with CERT deployment, participating in community events, or completing additional training, these 2 individuals have demonstrated a willingness to serve wherever they are needed. Their commitment represents exactly what the CERT program is about: neighbors helping neighbors, and trained volunteers stepping forward to support their community when it matters the most. They do not simply meet the expectations of the CERT members by being CERT members, they consistently exceed them through their participation, preparedness, reliability, and willingness to answer the call. For their exceptional dedication to training, their continued response to CERT callouts, and their commitment to serving White County, it is our privilege to present the 2026 CERT Responder Award to Mr. and Mrs. Chuck and Barb Blaine. Our next recognition goes to the Emergency Management Collaboration Award. Emergency management is built on partnerships. No single department or agency can prepare for or respond to every challenge alone, and this award recognizes someone who represents and who understands the importance of bringing people together. This year's recipient consistently works to strengthen relationships, improve communication, and build cooperation across agency and department lines. Her commitment is often seen in the work that happens behind the scenes, late nights, early mornings, and countless hours supporting the emergency management volunteer workforce, making sure the people who give their time to serve White County have the coordination and support they need. She also plays an important role in planning public safety operations for special events, bringing together personnel, resources, and agencies to help ensure those events are safe and successful. And perhaps most importantly, she understands the value of those relationships. She works closely with agencies and departments throughout White County, including our city partners, helping strengthen the connections that we depend on during both planned events and emergency situations. Those partnerships matter. The relationship we build before an emergency directly influence how effectively we are able to work together when our community needs us the most. Through her professionalism, dedication, and willingness to put in the extra time, this individual has helped strengthen not only our emergency management program, but the entire network of people and organizations working together to serve White County. For her commitment to teamwork, partnership, and bringing people together in support of our community, it is our privilege to present the 2026 Emergency Management Collaboration Award to Leah Targiano. And you too, Vic. Our next recognition goes to, or is the Emergency Management Professional Development Award. I almost give it away who it went to first, didn't I? This award recognizes an individual who demonstrates a commitment to continuous learning, personal growth, and professional excellence. Emergency management is a constantly evolving field, and being effective requires a willingness to continue learning, seek out new experiences, and develop the knowledge and skills necessary to better serve our community. This year's recipient has made professional development a priority. Through training, education, and hands-on experience, he continues to invest in his own growth while applying what he learns to strengthen our emergency management program and overall preparedness of White County. That commitment extends beyond his responsibilities here at work. He is also currently enrolled in an online college where he is nearing completion of his bachelor's degree in emergency management with a minor in Homeland Security. His efforts demonstrate an important principle in emergency management. We never stop learning. For his dedication to education, professional growth, and continued commitment of excellence to emergency management, it is our privilege to present the 26th Emergency Management Professional Development Award to Mr. Bryce Barrett. He has a few fans. Our next recognition is the Administrative Achievement Award. This award is presented to an exceptional administrative professional whose work behind the scenes helps keeps the entire organization and moving forward. In public safety, much of the focus naturally falls on the emergency response, but none of that work happens without strong administrative support. This year's recipient plays a critical role in ensuring that the essential operations of White County Public Safety continue to function effectively. She has also been an important part of growth of our department in recent years, particularly through her work as our grant administrator. Throughout that role, she has helped secure and manage significant funding that directly supports our programs, equipment, and capabilities. In 2024, those grant funds totaled $355,108. In 2025, that amount increased to $532,900. That represents a tremendous amount of work, coordination, documentation, and follow-through, and it has had a direct impact on our ability to continue to improve the services we provide. Her contribution is a reminder that some of the most important achievements in public safety happen quietly through organization, persistence, and commitment to making sure everything gets done in the right way. For her outstanding administrative service, her contribution to the growth of our public safety team, and her continued dedication to the organization, it is our privilege to present the 2026 Administrative Achievement Award to Mrs. Marcia Derrick. So now I get to introduce a gentleman who has been around for quite some time. He is a steadfast member of our White County Fire Services, and I am so thankful to be able to now call him our chief of the White County Fire Services Division, Mr. Terry Sosby.
Good afternoon. White County consists of 242 square miles. White County Fire Service, we respond throughout the county 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. The mission goes beyond structure fires. We respond to medical emergencies, motor vehicle accidents, vehicle fires, wildland and vegetation fires, rescue incidents, public assist, hazardous situations, fire alarms, and investigations. Every response depends on trained personnel, reliable equipment, strong teamwork, and stationed strategic position throughout White County. Some of the 25 statistics: we responded 3,435 total calls for service during 2025. The busiest response area was Station 2 with 760 calls. We had 24 structure fires, 28 vehicle fires, 51 vegetation fires, 4 illegal fires, and 14 other fire incidents. Our first recognition within our Fire Service Division this year is Firefighter of the Year Award. This award recognizes a firefighter who exemplifies dedication, professionalism, teamwork, and a strong commitment to serving others. This year's recipient is known for a quiet work ethic, willingness to help, and having putting the team first. One coworker said he has a heart for the fire service and is willing to help his fellow man in any way he can. Over the past year, he has continued to grow professionally, completing multiple MPQ courses, embracing training opportunities, and pushing himself to become a better firefighter. His coworkers also describe him as someone who does not wait to be asked, often taking on tasks others do not volunteer for, maintaining a positive attitude, and never expecting recognition. For his dedication, humility, work ethic, and continued growth in the fire service, it is our privilege to recognize the 2026 Firefighter of the Year, Will Lepre. Our next recognition is for Fire Services Valor Award. This award recognizes an individual who demonstrates extraordinary courage, discipline, and skill when someone's life depends on their actions. This year's recipient has consistently provided exceptional patient care as an advanced EMT. But one response especially demonstrated his training and composure. During an emergency involving a man pinned between a tractor and a flail mower, he encountered severe life-threatening bleeding and manually included the patient's femoral artery to help control the bleeding until further care could be provided. One nomination stated that his professionalism and skill in a high-pressure situation ultimately saved a man's life. He has shown the same level of professionalism on other serious calls, including a pediatric drowning. For his courage, life-saving skill, and commitment to caring for others, it is our privilege to present the 2026 Fire Department Valor Award to Trace Swazowski. Our next recognition is the Fire Service Professional Development Award. This award recognizes an individual committed to learning, growth, and becoming better prepared to serve their department and community. Though still relatively new to the fire service, this year's recipient has already built a strong foundation for his career. In just 1 year, he earned both his Firefighter 1 and EMT certifications, accomplishments, and that required significant training, study, and education. More importantly, he has continued to seek other opportunities to train, improve his skills, and grow as a firefighter. For what he has already accomplished and this continued commitment to professional growth, it is our privilege to present the 2026 Fire Services Professional Development Award to Dakota Allison. Our next recognition is Volunteer Firefighter of the Year Award. Our volunteer firefighters make an important commitment to White County in balancing careers, families, and other responsibilities while still choosing to train and answer the call. This year's recipient is an outstanding example of that commitment. Over the past year, he has expanded his public safety service by becoming Firefighter 1 certified. Since then, he has remained faithful in responding to calls and continues seeking opportunities to train and grow as a firefighter. He does all this while maintaining a demanding full-time career as a supervising communications officer. Whether behind the radio, coordinating emergency responses, or serving alongside firefighters in the field, his dedication to the White County public safety is evident. For his reliability, continued growth, and commitment to serving White County, both behind the headset and on the fireground, is our privilege to recognize the 2026 Volunteer Firefighter of the Year, Collins Dunn. Our next recognition is Fire Officer of the Year. This award recognizes an officer who demonstrates strong leadership, sound decision-making, professionalism, and a genuine commitment to their crew. This year's recipient is described by coworkers as dependable, level-headed, and focused on safety while still making confident decisions on emergency scenes. His leadership also extends beyond the call. He is known for being fair, approachable, supportive, and willing to mentor those around him. One firefighter shared this officer provided immense support and care and that his dedication both on the fire service and with his people is evident in everything he does. For this, his leadership, mentorship, professionalism, and commitment to the firefighters and community, it is a privilege to recognize 2026 Fire Officer of the Year, Jody Holland. Our next recognition is Company of the Year Award. This award recognizes an engine company that demonstrates exceptional teamwork, professionalism, dependability, and a willingness to go above and beyond. This year's recipients have earned a reputation for showing up, working hard, and getting the job done right. Co-workers describe them as dependable, positive, and efficient. One nomination said, "This crew never complains. They outwork everyone else and bring skills and efficiency to every task they do." Another simply stated, "They always get the job done. You can trust them to turn out high-quality work." Whether responding to emergencies, completing daily assignments, or stepping up to when extra effort is needed, this crew can consistently be counted on. For their teamwork, professionalism, work ethic, and commitment to excellence, it is our privilege to recognize the 2026 Fire Department Company of the Year, Josh Milam and Justin Ledford.
Radio Engine 2 Med 4, Engine 2 Med 4, respond to 290 Cindy Cove, 290 Cindy Cove, reference and possible juvenile drowning, timeout 942.
Units responding to 290 Cindy Cove, 290 Cindy Cove. It's going to be reference to a 16-month-old female, possibly drowned in the pond. They have gotten her out of the water at this time. We are beginning CPR. We're obtaining further. Radio is clear at 943. Temporary, you're responding to a 16-month-old female possibly drowned in a pond. CPR is in progress. We're attempting to obtain further. However, it's difficult with CPR. It's going to be at 290 Cindy Cove, 290 Cindy Cove.
March 5th, 2026, 9:41 in the morning. For most of White County, it was an ordinary Thursday morning. But at that moment, somewhere in our county, an 18-month-old child was drowning, and the clock was already running. The call came into White County 911. On the screen in front of our dispatchers was an address. Technology had identified where the caller was located. But there was a problem. The caller was standing at a residence on one side of the pond. Across the pond, at an entirely different address, was an 18-month-old child whose life was hanging in the balance. Had responders simply been sent to the location showing on the 911 screen, precious moments could have been lost. Moments that this child did not have. But our dispatchers were listening. They were questioning. They were processing what they were hearing while simultaneously coordinating an emergency response. And they realized something wasn't right.
Units responding to this drowning call. We've got an address update. It's going to be 212 Non-Quit Hill Drive, 212 Non-Quit Hill Drive. It's going to be on the opposite side of the pond from Cindy Cove.
That single realization may very well have saved a child's life. But it was only the beginning. From that moment forward, a chain began. A caller reached out for help. A dispatcher recognizing what others may have missed. Information being gathered. The correct location being identified. Units being dispatched. First responders moving toward a child they had never met, but whose life had suddenly become their mission. Every person in that chain had a job to do. Every radio transmission mattered. Every decision mattered. Every second mattered. Then came the intervention. Men and women from White County Public Safety arrived and went to work. Training took over. Different uniforms, different agencies, different responsibilities. One mission: save this child. And on March 5th, 2026, they did. An 18-month-old child could have become the subject of tragedy. Instead, became the reason a family was able to take their child home. That outcome did not happen because of one person. It happened because an entire public safety system worked the way it is supposed to work. From the first voice answering the phone, to the people racing toward the scene, to the hands performing life-saving care, each person became a link in a chain. Remove any one of those links, and this story may have ended very differently. There are calls in public safety that eventually fade from memory. There are others that stay with us for the rest of our careers. And every once in a while, there is a call that reminds us why we are here, why we answer the phone, why we listen carefully, why we train, why we respond, why we run towards someone else's worst moment. And why, regardless of the patch on our shoulder, the title on our uniform, or the agency written on the side of our vehicle, when a life is hanging in the balance, we are one team. This afternoon, we recognize the highest honor presented by White County Public Safety, an award created to recognize an extraordinary commitment to the preservation of human life. Its name represents the very elements demonstrated on that March morning. Awareness, the ability to recognize what is truly happening, including what others may not see. Response, the urgency, coordination, and teamwork required to get help where it is needed. And intervention, the moment training, courage, and action come together to give another human being a chance to live. Awareness, response, intervention. ARI. The ARI Award, White County Public Safety's highest honor, named for a little girl whose story reminds us that behind every call number, behind every radio transmission, behind every address on a screen, there is a life. And sometimes, because someone listened, because someone noticed, because someone responded, and because someone acted, that life gets another tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to present the 2026 ARI Award. I want to say thank you to the Day family for being with us today and allowing us to celebrate the life of Ari and honor her forever with the highest honor we can bestow among our public safety responders, which is the Ari Award. Terry didn't turn the pages. He brought his own. There were a lot of people involved in that day. Remember it just like it was yesterday. So the first Ari Award is going to go to a lot of people, not just one. Because as the audio piece you just listened to stated, it wasn't just one person. It took the entire public safety team to bring us to this day that we have. So as I call your name, if you are present, please join us on stage and just gather around the family. Trace Sawowski. Terry Stewart. Jody Holland. Josh Taylor. Patricia Mullins. Liberty Garrett. Jessica Wood. Joni Schoenburn. Jonathan Jones. And we cannot present this award today without also recognizing the work of our many public safety partners, White County EMS, White County Sheriff's Office, and the many surrounding agencies that supported White County in the escort of Ari to the hospital, including Habersham and Hall County. Ladies and gentlemen, the recipients of the 2026 Ari Award.
Well, thank you so much. As we come to the end of our ceremony today, I would like to introduce to you our distinguished chairman of our Board of Commissioners, Mr. Travis Turner.
Ladies and gentlemen, how do you follow that? I was speaking to Director Murphy earlier in the week in preparing for this event, and I've taken the last few days to make some notes so I could kind of stay on track. But as we were just going through this and celebrating this life that is still here with us, and you as men and women, you're walking in the calling that I believe God has called you. So if you'll bear with me just a few moments, I'm not going to take much of our time. And I am glad that I made some notes because at this time it's very emotional. I mean, for myself, it's a praise God moment. On behalf of myself, the entire Board of Commissioners, along with our entire White County community, I want to express our deepest appreciation to each of you. We truly cannot say enough how grateful we are for every first responder, no matter what your position is, no matter what department you're in. Thank you. Thank you for your service to our county and to our community. As a county, we are growing, and with that growth comes greater demands and increased workloads. Yet you continue to rise and meet those challenges. To bring things a little more personal, many of you there in the audience, you know my family's story, and it's a story that I share honestly relatively often, because if you ever wonder if you have a testimony, give God time, you'll have a testimony. My mother battled her illness for 25 years, and during those times, when her condition became critical, we often found ourselves in medical emergencies that required calling 911. Some of you in the room were part of those calls over that 25-year period. Long before I ever served as commission chairman, I realized something. In moments like that, when you're desperate for help, you're unsure what to do, first responders, each of you become a lifeline for us on this side of the phone. Again, each of you have a calling, a special ability from God to help people in their most vulnerable moments. You assist our family members when we don't know what to do, and you do so with a skill, with a compassion, and a calm that was so evidenced just a few moments ago. I know that you undergo countless hours of training and classes so that in that frantic pace of an emergency, your response becomes instinctive. People describe it as muscle memory. You start with step 1, step 2, step 3, and before long, you've stabilized a patient, you supported a family, and provided the care needed to get them to safety. So when I say thank you, I mean it with my heart. Because I've lived it. And again, I can't help but get emotional over the last few minutes. Not to take away from anyone else and all the awards, so well deserved. But tomorrow, when that call comes into dispatch, Bill, your team, and the ambulance service, when you go out, our first responders, our fire department, our CERT team, and I know I'm leaving folks out. I don't mean to. This is not part of my notes. You are that lifeline. And from White County, from all of us as a community, not the titles we hold, thank you. And may God bless you. May God bless your families, because you don't do this on your own. You have a calling on your life. And we want to do our very best to support you in all that you do to be that lifeline for our families. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for coming out. Now at this time, I'd like Lanier Swafford to come forward and close these ceremonies. And thank you, and may you all have a blessed weekend. Thank you very much.
On behalf of White County Public Safety, I just want to say thank each one of you for making time out of your afternoon to be here to recognize these individuals. I'd be amiss if I didn't take time to congratulate our winners. But each one of you who answer the call each and every day, whether recognized tonight or not, you're a winner. You do something most people don't do, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate that enough. Again, thank you so much for making time to be here this afternoon. A reminder to those who've been recognized today to stay afterwards. The pictures will take place here in the lobby, Performing Arts Center. Again, thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you in 2027 and safe travels home. Have a good afternoon.